What's up, guys? This is Taters, and doing some commentary for X. X joined LVT last season, and he's just a great dude. He's been great for LVT, and yeah, he asked me if I would do some war commentary for this video. Could not say no, and I'll talk about why he asked that, and kind of there is a special occasion. And we'll talk about that a little bit deeper into the video. But first up here, LVT is against GT40. This is War 8 by this point. Heading into this war, GT40 is undefeated on the season and ranked #1. And LVT was 5-2, but 4th on the leaderboard. So 1 versus 4 matchup here. And yeah, we've got a Wiccan here. X with some very, very nice with inputs there for spacing. I will say I don't think that this is really necessary for a path fight, but the beauty of Cassie is that with Inequity, with all those debuffs, with her taunt up, which you guys can see the bottom right, it keeps moving positions under Wiccan's health bar, but with all those things going on, especially with the 5 extra debuffs, the Withers from being a tactic attacker, she just does not take damage. So yeah, you can kind of get away with a lot with her, and you can tell that X obviously practiced those things in duels. I know that his prep process has gone to 11 since he's been with us, and yeah, that all kind of ties into why I'm doing commentary on this video. This is a nothing fight here. It's a Korg with a Doom. I'm going to go ahead and use this opportunity to talk about what's going on in this war, why I'm doing this voiceover. So, in LVT, one thing that we have done since we started, but really just since we got to Tier 1, which I think that this is Season 6 or 7 for us in Tier 1. But one of the things that we do to try to motivate and just to celebrate our members, cheer our teammates on, and encourage everybody to do their absolute best, give them something external from the game that they can kind of strive for as a goal. With us is to hit a streak of 100 plus in war, a solo streak of 100 plus in war. And we commemorate that, if they're able to accomplish that, by, I make them a streak card and a PFP, a profile picture, little avatar thing that they can use for their line profiles. That is something that you can only get in LVT if you hit a 100 streak, and then if you hit a 200 streak, then the border of the card and the avatar changes colors to try to keep you separated. And currently, the only person in LVT with that special 200 streak would be Lizer, and she's got a couple of them. She's got 3 200 streaks to her name, so she's one of the goats. But all right, very easy fight there. Now, heading into this war, our boy X had a streak of 98, and I just want to, he probably, he didn't give me any directions on what I should talk about or, anything. He just asked if I would commentate. So, but I will say this, that when X joined us, he didn't have that top-end Tier 1 experience, and he was a little bit nervous about how he would do. It was very, very obvious from the recruiting process. We've got a little recruit chat. We ask questionnaires to people. We ask for videos, good fights and bad fights. Ask for breakdowns on the bad fights, stuff like that. And it was very, very obvious that the skill is definitely there. He's also very good in battlegrounds, which I think is not a perfect indication of skill, but especially for a smaller roster. If you're able to compete and place highly in battlegrounds with, presumably a roster disadvantage against a lot of your opponents up at the top brackets, that's a pretty good indicator of skill as well. But anyway, he was pretty nervous about how he would do, and we have a pretty stringent prep process, or a prep checklist, basically, that we encourage our players to reference for all of their fights every single war. And he has just really taken that seriously and adopted that. He's kind of made from it his own prep process that's very thorough, making sure he's going through every single fight and not taking any fight for granted. And yeah, coming into this war, his streak sat at 98, and he's been excited because he sees some of these PFPs that people have earned for reaching 100 on their streak, and he had one in mind that he really, really wanted, a character that he really wanted, and I told him, it's yours if you can get there. You got to get there quickly, because if somebody gets there before you and they choose that character, then then they earned it. So anyway, he at this point, what is this? The fight number 4. He has eclipsed that 100 mark, and I'm just so proud of him because of how nervous he was when he joined, and just unsure of himself he was, which I think, looking back on it now, I hope he realizes, and everybody that watches, that, yeah, it's, he never should have been doubting at all, but it's just when you haven't really seen yourself accomplish something great, sometimes you don't really know, your potential and stuff, and, he's really kind of changed how he's approached war. And the results are pretty amazing. So really proud of you, dude. Love you, kid. You're doing awesome, and he's gonna get through this war without dying. I actually have no idea what fights he had, so this is just completely ad-libbing at this point. It looks like he's gonna do Hulkling. That makes sense with Tigra. So this, I presume, is gonna be like a 20-second fight, but we'll see what he does here. I'm not a Tiger player, so I don't even know really what the approach would be. But look at him topping off as much as possible. I love to see that as a former leader. Just taking nothing for granted. And for anybody that's watching this video that maybe is in the lower tiers, or maybe has never had like a season that they considered successful, and you're asking yourself, I wonder what it takes to go 100 fights in a row at high tier without dying. And obviously there's a baseline amount of skill required, but I would say it's more fundamental than anything, because most of the time, at least in this alliance, I can promise you're going to get good matchups, and it really, to me, comes down to preparation, just making sure that you know what is going to happen in a fight, like what to expect. You know the defender's abilities, you're properly boosted, you have the correct masteries on, you're just putting yourself in the best position to succeed. And not only that, but you are prepared if things go poorly, or if things don't go to your plan A. So you've got your plan A, you've got your plan B, and you probably have a plan C. And basically, you just want to make sure that whatever can kill you in the fight, whatever mixture of the defender's abilities, or the node buffs, or the tactic interaction with a global, whatever the case is, that you are prepared, and then it's just about execution. And the thing is that even people who have only been playing this game for a year or two, if you're up at this level, then you've probably been playing on a daily basis. You've probably been playing at a high level, or at least competing against other people at high levels, and really you can fall back on your instincts if it's all about execution and you have the right matchup and you know what to expect. So being good at war is, I would say, 70%, maybe 80% preparation, and just making sure that you're not beating yourself, and then the rest is a combination of how you boost, and your roster, and matchup strength, and obviously, your experience in the game and skill in general. But, all right, I presume that is it. No, he's going over here. Let's see. Is he... okay, he's taking ham with Cassie. That makes sense. This is a matchup that I assigned in War 1, my last war in LVT. And it is very good. And now, here's the beauty of... I already talked about the beauty of Cassie, being that she doesn't take any damage with taunt and all of her debuffs and inequity. But in addition to that... she can take Hazard Shift with absolutely no worries, because with the tactic, you have a 25%, I think it's actually a 33% damage over time effect reduction per debuff. So all of these debuffs just means that she is taking literally 0 damage from any damage over time effect as long as she has at least 3 debuffs. That is debuffs on herself, and it's also passives because it's DOT effects. So that applies to, you know, like Kindred passive degeneration, mojo, stuff like that. So pretty sweet. But yeah, hazard shift is at absolutely nothing with her. Now, you know, you definitely still want to play Spider-Ham. He's got 4 nonsense at this point. X is finishing full combos, which is something that, you know, he could maybe not do. I always like to stop my combos short as soon as I eclipse a bar of power against Spider-Ham, just because it is the absolute safest option. If Spider-Ham were to get to 6 of those nonsense and you attack him, then he becomes unblockable and things can get out of hand. But awesome war for X, awesome accomplishment, hitting a streak of over 100, man. That's just so cool and so proud of you. This is the card, the streak card, and the PFP that he earned. Let him know in the comment section, man, how sick these are. And if you say that they're not sick, you're totally lying. So be honest with him. And yeah, just give him some love, man. Throw him a subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like for him, and follow his channel because he's going to be posting these. And I don't think it's very often you get to watch you know, a building streak in real time. Yeah, it's just a very cool situation. So anyway, that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure that you return for future war videos.